am in my life right now, I'm a medium Jew.
Yeah.
Anyway.
There's the soundbite for this week.
Hello, everyone. Welcome to The Deep Drop, a fishing podcast that quite often makes zero sense at all, but that is why we lean on you, the listener. My name's Luke McCredden, and I'm joined, as always, by my good friend and co-host, Adam Ring. Adam, I'm not even going to try and lie. Like, that is what we do. We lean on the listener because, God, some of the stuff we've said in recent weeks has just been absolute dribble.
Well, for those that are new,
I'm not selling the podcast very
no,
well.
but it's kind of the selling point. So for those that are new to the podcast, in previous installments, which I suggest you go and listen to because they don't get old. We talk about everything in fishing. We've spoken about everything from the direction that recreational fishing is heading into the future. We've spoken about stocking.
Yeah.
We've spoken about technology, live scope in particular. We've also spoken about recently about having a coffee too early on a trip and potentially shitting yourself on the river. So we literally cover everything.
Yeah. Yes.
There's not too many programs that can say it and mean it. Just go and have a listen.
Yeah.
I think we're living up to our word up to this point.
I asked people recently on Instagram just to share it around and share it around with your friends and colleagues and family and see what you thought, what they think. Give us some feedback. And so far, fairly positive. I think people are enjoying it. And someone said to me, you sound like in the intros you've almost given up on selling it. It's not that. I've given up on trying to explain it. That's what I've given up on.
And that's kind of the selling point. How interesting is a podcast when we don't even know what we're going to talk about?
It's true. So, it's dangerous.
It's dangerous, but it's how we roll, and I think we've done all right up until this point. I don't know where we're going to go on this podcast, and I can't wait.
Well, let's go. Let's do it. I mean, look. Welcome everybody. If you're new here, huge welcome, huge hugs. Get in here. This is what we do. We're a show of this is your show. Adam and I are just sort of the messengers to get the conversation started. We're the icebreakers, Adam.
Yeah, the thought provokers. We want your thinking and we want your input because the fact of the matter is a lot of the time we don't actually know the answers to anything that we're trying to talk about. So we will give you as much information as we physically can. Now, Luke and I, we have been a part of this beautiful fishing industry for nearly 20 years. So
Jesus Christ.
That made us sound pretty old, hey?
We are.
Yeah, all right. Well, edit that bit out. We've got some industry experience. We're avid fishermen. We love it. We've spent time on the water together. We've spent time working together. And we thought, why don't we hit record and start talking about everything? Because we've had some pretty interesting conversations over the years.
Yeah. And real talk for a second. The reason we do this and we get a real kick out of it is because there are no definitive answers in fishing. And there is no such thing as knowing it all or clocking it. Mate, it doesn't matter who you talk to. No one knows it all.
No.
And this is the beauty of it. And there's so many elements to this that are just opinion based or, your experience and, sharing that around. And, mate, talking about fishing is one of the greatest things you could possibly do outside of actually fishing, isn't it?
Fishing. Yeah, 100%.
Yeah.
100%.
So anyway, welcome. And anyone who's been with us since early on, maybe the start. If you're up to date.
Kudos to you.
Like, seriously, that is magnificent. And thank you so much. And genuinely, thank you everyone for tuning in. This is a lot of fun Adam and I have. Been a big week, ads. Not going to lie, big couple of weeks. We had some power issues last week, which took us offline.
Oh, my apologies. There was a few technical difficulties in relation to electricity, let's just say, and I didn't have it for quite some time.
Yeah, no, not me.
Which a lot of people didn't.
Yeah.
And I'm not one of these poor people that live in, some of the more, I guess, areas conducive to this sort of thing. I live in the sunny suburb of Cranbourne, and I had one tree that happened to fall on one power line that was connected to my house. So that's just bad luck. To everyone who's been offline for a little while, I hope you're all back up and running. Welcome back. You didn't miss anything because we were thinking of you here at the Deep Drop, and we didn't produce episodes because we didn't want you to miss out.
Exactly.
So here we are.
Quick non-fishing update, if I may.
Yes?
I have spoken previously on the Deep Drop about my love of Blink-182. I went twice. I went to their concert twice. And
now,
it was
tip of
amazing.
the cap to you, Luke. We had a chat during the week, as we normally do, and we were talking about what was going to happen this week and recording, and we pushed it out a night. You said you were out. That's fine. And I saw on your Insta stories that you were at Blink-182 for round 2.
Yeah.
And tip of the cap, because you couldn't have spoken highly enough of concert number 1. And the fact of the matter is, whether you're into this music or not, Blink-182 they're up there. It's original lineup.
The OG line, and this is a big part of it.
Yeah, original lineup, and it may be the last time.
Potentially.
Who knows? So, mate, tip of the cap to you. I love it.
Thank you. I spotted a Kardashian last night.
Stop it.
Yep. She was there floating around. We were kind of sort of near the stage there, and I did spot a Kardashian. So anyone who's interested in that, probably not. So let's move on. I've also been all over the joint this week. Spent some time up in Sydney and, just doing various things. You know what I did? And this fascinates me, and it genuinely interests me to the point where I want to get back up there and spend some more time fishing. The Dewey fishery in and around Sydney, we know all the waterways up there are big and vast, and when I say that, I mean the river systems and the big networks of rivers and bays and whatever. We ducked out for just a couple of hours because I was up there for work duties. But we did get a couple of hours out in the afternoon and just bang, Dewey, like far out. Like, do you know what I mean? Do you know what I'm saying? Like, it was just and this is so anyone tuning in from and around Victoria, they're not that easy. But that afternoon, the Sydney siders seem to, and I'm not saying it's easy for them either, but geez, they've got a good fishery in some of those systems up there.
I wonder, is it because we can't fish it every day that we're like, so much better than down here? Because I wonder on average how much easier it is to catch a Dewey just bumping a placky in and around those systems than what it is down here. Because I can think of some systems here in Victoria where you could potentially go and do that.
Yeah. No, for sure. It's very doable here. But
was it more that you got a Dewey quickly, or the fact that the crew you were fishing with kind of didn't really give a fuck? Like,
that's what it was. That's what it was. And it was almost an element of disappointment because it wasn't legit, because it wasn't a big flathead. And I'm like, are you fucking kidding me? What are you fucking talking about, flathead?
This is the interesting stuff to me.
That's what makes me go, these people catch Deweys a lot. And when you're almost calling them bycatch.
Yeah. I want to catch Jesus bycatch.
I want some of that bycatch. It's like when, fishing in some parts of the offshore inshore reefs off the coastline, when and this has happened to me in New Zealand as well, where you go have a big day offshore and then you come and hit some of the inshore reefs for snapper on plastics, and you're going, the guys are getting frustrated because they're catching 15 to 20 kilo kingfish while they're trying to get a snapper. And it's like your bycatch mentality's all up the shit, mate. Like,
yeah, it makes me sick.
But it was similar. Don't get me wrong. It was welcomed aboard and a quick photo and release, but it was the hookup was like, oh, that's a good flatty. And I went, Really?
Jam your flatty.
And then when we saw it, obviously that silver sort of color come up, was like, it's a Dewey, and they're like, oh, it's a Dewey.
Yeah.
Like, no, excited. You've got to be excited. No, yeah,
all
no,
right. So here's my question to you, who experienced it firsthand.
yeah.
Do they genuinely undersell Deweys, or do we undersell flatties?
Or do we overrate Deweys down here? Like,
Ooh, is it possible?
All right. So look, sorry, I've stolen your question. Go to your question. So
yeah. So
who
undersells
more?
Yeah, because they obviously thought, no, it's not a flatty, and you've gone, fuck flatties, it's a Dewey, and they're like,
yeah.
No.
But having said that, our flatty fishery. Now I'll talk dusky flathead on the eastern part of Victoria. It's
the best it's ever been.
It's pretty exciting
and
when you hook up.
And it's peaking, yeah.
Yeah, and when you hook up and it's heavy, you go, oh, fuck, that could be a ripper. And then the excitement levels go. I'm not saying I don't get excited about dusky flathead. Like, no, wait, they're awesome fish. I love it. But if you saw
they're not a mulloway.
But if you thought if you're at Lake Tyers and you go, this is a good flatty, you're excited, then it turns into a mulloway. The excitement levels have tripled. Like, do you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So whether it's Cooter or where there are legit mulloway opportunities in some of those systems, whereas it was the opposite. Now that's also a personal thing. Like, some people might be way more excited for a Dewey. Some people might be more excited for a big Tailor. But
there's our first question for the listeners in this podcast.
Okay.
Do you get more excited about a mulloway, an average mulloway?
Too wordy, Adam. Too wordy. What's it going?
All right, hang on. All right, it's got to fit into a tile, doesn't it? Mulloway or flathead? Question mark. How's that? Or
Dusky.
Is it not enough?
No, maybe. All right, a bit more. So, okay. Anyway, keep an eye out. So we're going to ask you
average mulloway or big dusky.
Yeah, nice. Yeah, because that's a good point, because this Dewey was not huge. It was certainly not.
But it wasn't one of those little.
No.
It didn't have afterbirth on it or anything.
No, it was. I actually don't. I don't even know if we measured it. Probably not, because they were just so keen to throw it back in the water so they could get a chance at a big.
So add a guess.
Flathead.
Add a guess. 60 to 70, 40 to 50.
50 to 60.
I'd be pretty stoked with
Like,
that.
that's not. I know. Hang on. Let me. What's 50?
I know it's not a. I know it's not a giant,
nah.
but
60 to 70. Yeah.
fuck, I'd lose me shit with that.
Let's call it 60. And let's just
60,
say...
60 or 70.
And maybe if anyone... Yeah, it was a metre. It was $1.20. If anyone's listening who is a good Dewey fisherman, whether it's New South Wales, Victoria, wherever, don't care, is 60 centimetres... Nah, because if you're a good Dewey fisherman, that's not a good fish.
Yeah, it's a soapy.
Yeah. And it wasn't a something that you go, holy shit, what a ripper. But to give you an idea, like, it screamed line and it was a solid fight. You know what I'm saying? So on mid spin gear, chasing flathead. So if that gives you an indication. So it was good. Yeah.
So the guys that you were with, how not into it were they? Like, if you were not on the boat, do you reckon they would have just tried to shake it off?
No, surely not. But it was like this. All right, let's go off reactions. Initial reaction. Oh, that's awesome. Good head shot. That's a big floody.
Okay.
It's a Dewey.
It's disappointing.
Whereas me, I was like, initially I was like, that's a good fish. Whatever it is, that's a good fish. And then, it's a fucking Dewey.
Yeah. No, it's a Dewey.
It's a Dewey. It's a Dewey. Yeah. Do you want me to grab the net? Oh, yeah. Like, you know,
lift it in. Should be right.
Swing it over. So there's kind of the reactions. So you can see now. Yeah, there was no disrespect from the crew, but it was just not as.
But it wasn't a big flatty.
Oh, look, I'm sure their excitement levels would have been more if it was like a big
a
Jew.
metre. Yeah.
Yeah, but it wasn't a big flatty apparently. So
Yeah.
anyway. Fucking hell. But yeah, all right. No, that's good. So we'll say medium Jewy
Or big dusky.
or big dusky. What would you take right now? In all honesty.
In all honesty,
Yeah.
medium Jew.
Would you?
I don't know because
hang on.
I do. My first initial reaction was medium Jewy.
Yeah.
And
But how
I
big's
have-
the dusky?
well, to give you an idea, I have caught both. I've caught small to medium estuary Jewies.
How big are they?
I've caught, probably that 50 to 60.
Yeah.
And
All
I've
right.
I've caught, like I haven't caught a metre dusky, but I've caught maybe 80 to 85.
80s? Yeah, okay. So
Yeah.
let's say right now to you, 60 centimetre Jew or 86 centimetre dusky. 90 centimetre dusky because you're not
Well,
cracking a metre.
I'd go a 90 dusky. But
Well, why don't you just go and move to Sydney?
it's because I've never caught a 90 dusky, but I've caught a 60 centimetre Jewy.
90 Jewy, 90 dusky.
Jewy.
Yeah, okay. All right. It's good.
What about you? You witnessed
Oh.
it. Did you nearly push someone in because they go, "Oh, it's a Jewy"?
Yeah, I was excited about the Jewy. I think I'd take because I've done fuck all Jewy fishing and caught not many. Like a literally tiny one or two, and maybe that might be it. So I would take a 60. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But I'd love to get a cracker meter
Well,
on a dusky.
For those that aren't in Victoria who might be listening to this, or those that haven't delved into the dusky flathead thing, I just want to paint a picture for probably a little bit of a reason why we've both answered the Jewy in that sort of direction. The dusky flathead fishing at the moment from basically Lakes Entrance to Malakuta is ridiculous.
Yeah.
And it used to be, like the last few years have been, Lake Tyers has had some really good fish and you haven't really heard of anything too much. No, it's not just Lake Tyers. Lake Tyers is now part of it. Lakes Entrance is fishing out of control. There's big fish at Tyers. Malakuta is back to the glory days for both mulloway and flathead. You can't convince me otherwise. I'm sure if those two systems are places like Tamboon, Crazy, you and I were talking about Wombourne during the week, I'm sure that has to be fishing well.
Yeah.
We are in a purple patch for dusky flathead at the moment, to the point where they seem a hell of a lot more viable to catch than still a big mulloway or an average mulloway.
Are we in a patch where we'll be talking about in 10 years? Do you remember when? With dusky flathead in Victoria?
No, I think we are. And the thing is, they're not.
Do you reckon the deep drop will still be going?
No, we'll be flathead fishing.
Yeah.
No, I genuinely think this is the start too. I don't think this is a bumper season. I think we're seeing the result of just some epic water turnover in the last couple of years. I think those floods that we had a couple of years ago have done such incredible things for the whole of Gippsland.
Yeah.
That we're starting to see that. There would have been some of those big flatties that got out of Lake Tyers when it opened, because it did open 3 or 4 times last year.
Yeah.
Or the year before. And they've moved, and I'm pretty sure, and please someone correct me if I'm wrong, but I'm pretty sure there was a stocking of dusky flathead through Gippsland.
Yeah.
They wouldn't,
correct.
now they would not be a metre yet. They wouldn't even be, you'd be lucky if they're 40 centimetres yet. But I think a lot of these fish have been moved out of other systems as they all opened. And it's insane. Like it's not uncommon to go and catch multiple fish between 70 and 80. It's ridiculous.
Which is crazy. And it's so, you're right, it's such a good We're in such a good period. I've got another question just on the dew and dusky thing. What if we threw in the way you caught it? So I'm going to say an 80 centimetre dusky on a bent minnow, or a 80 centimetre dew just bouncing a plucky off the bottom. Do you know what I'm saying? Like it adds, there's I'm trying to swing a bit of favour back into the dusky.
I think you and I have both said it before, and I'm going to stand by it. Top water wins, doesn't it?
Top water wins.
It's just the pinnacle way to catch anything.
That is one of the greatest segues in our 70-odd episodes of the Deep Drop, because one of the things I wanted to raise tonight, Adam, was a question sent in by a good mate, Maury.
Yep.
And he asked if a lure like a bent minnow, OSP bent minnow, or a Protect bender is a surface lure. Do you class it as a surface lure? Now, if you're out there listening, so just before you answer it, you're our technical guy on the show. Explain to anyone who's not familiar with a bent minnow or a bender what it is.
It's the most unusual looking lure that you'll ever see. It looks like it's broken. It looks like it's broken. It is literally shaped like a banana, and the hooks are on the flat side. So it's really weird, but it exploded onto the brim scene quite a number of years ago, and it proved to be a ridiculously efficient way of catching estuary fish.
Yep.
It's very erratic. It doesn't have a consistent action, which is probably its biggest attribute. Technically speaking, though, well, it depends how you fish it. I think technically speaking, it's a subsurface lure. The way, and I have fished them a little bit on brim, but what I'm about to explain was taught to me. I was with a very good friend of ours, Luke, who taught me how to fish bent minnows, because it's not as easy as what you think. It's very visual, so it has the top water aspect, but you've basically got to wait until and this is on brim I'm talking, it's different for other species, but on brim you actually see a tail swirl first, and then you've got to pause, because when you pause it floats to the top. But it'll only sit maybe an inch max under the water. So technically it's probably subsurface. If you keep your rod tip high, you can fish it as a top water, which I think most people kind of are.
Yeah.
For those who haven't fished them, don't ask questions, just buy one. It doesn't matter what brand that they are good.
Yeah. I agree. I think they're worth having in. Anyone who's, if you're fishing around any sort of estuary, because everything will eat them as well.
Yeah, that's right.
And you could probably, like you say, yes, there is a technical aspect of them as far as, technique, but you could also probably get away
you can slow wind it. If you've got brim stacked up on the edges, you can slow wind it. Like it does have. It's a very unusual and erratic action, but I think if you just wind and pause, you will catch fish on them. They are that efficient as a lure.
Do you know what? It's a bit of a head fuck, though, when you first... Because I remember first using... I think I did a trip last year, I'm going to say. It might have been late the year before. And I had some of the Protect benders and was using them on... Well, I was targeting flathead. I think it might have been lake tires, actually, now I think about it. But also had some brim obviously coming up and eating them. But the first few times I was missing bites because I'd get excited when you'd see that tail swirl, as you say, or the boil behind it. And so you'd sort of give it a bit more of a twitch, but then often resulted in nothing. But the pause was so important. And I had to learn that.
It's also the nature of any topwater fishing. The easiest way to not get a hookup's to strike. Yeah. You've got to wait, and I've done it way too many times. You get so excited with a fish finally hits a topwater lure, and you strike, and just about, you feel the topwater ping off your sunnies as it comes flying back at your face.
Yeah, but or you come back with the mouth of the fish, and that's just a lip.
You've got to feel weight and just start winding. if you strike, it's such a weird thing to wrap your head around. But
It is.
But you said something that's so true. Fishing a bent minnow initially is a massive mindfuck because when we use lures, it's to mimic something specific. It's either a natural presentation of a natural bait that's already in the water, or a dying version of that bait. A bent minnow's neither.
No.
Because it doesn't really mimic a falling, fucked out bait fish because you kind of work it too quick.
Yeah.
It doesn't.
Not regularly. Like, yes, okay, every now and then a stupid mullet might be half eaten by an eagle and then just is all fucked out on the surface doing something similar.
Yeah.
But, sorry.
Maybe that's what they were going for.
Maybe that's it. Maybe we've just ruined the secret of this design. But for the most part, it couldn't be further from matching the hatch. Like it's not, it doesn't look like anything. Might be some colorways that are good, but yeah. Jesus, they're so effective.
But it's also weird though because you said the colorway. When's the last time that you saw any estuary lure where the primary and go-to colorway was a chartreuse back with a pink head and a clear body?
Yeah. I haven't seen too many mullet or bait fish that are with a chartreuse.
No, like if you were going to go and take if you're going to go take a 50mm Walker or a little bloop popper, 50mm bloop popper, you're not picking up a chartreuse back, pink head, clear body. You're not. But it kind of makes perfect sense for the bent minnow because it's so fucked anyway. Why would you not just put a shit colour on it and still catch fish?
And it's not a shit colour. It's so bloody effective.
It works, and it does legitimately work better than any of the other ones.
It's so good. But yeah, so anyway, back to the original question. Are you classing this as a surface lure? Probably.
Yeah.
But I think more his point was what you sort of touched on is they are really subsurface as far as when you're swimming them and whatever. Yeah. But it's funny because it makes me think about a lot of surface lures. A lot of stick baits are subsurface that are so effective, and if you're not trying them, I think about our local tuna fishery and some of the subsurface. I mean, in your stable, mate, in the Rapala stable, some of the subsurface, baits that you can get that just sit just below the surface can make a big difference. A bit almost too much action on the top, splashing and carrying on could be on any given day a turn off. So you almost need that, that subsurface.
Yeah, see, I'm also a big one as if you've got, say you and I were fishing and you were chucking around a bent minnow and I had some other surface lure on and we're getting a lot of little like weird little flashes and short strikes where you're not hooking up and I was watching something on YouTube the other day around brim and this exact technique. I'm pretty sure it was the Morgan boys, actually.
Mm.
They did insanely well in one of the comps, and this was years ago, fish in top water, and the second there was some action, one of them would then send out a stick minnow, a sinking stick minnow, and clean up. So the surface lures were almost necessary to get the fish fired up. They weren't 100% switched on, so they weren't hooking up on the top water all the time. But if you missed a strike and sent a stick minnow behind it, you were getting a hookup. I think it's one of those weird little things in fishing that we don't pay a lot of attention to. I mean, there's a lot of people throwing poppers for bluefin at the moment, and they're catching a shitload of fish.
Yeah.
But if someone was sending like a little 12 or 14 centimetre sinking stick minnow behind it, are you gonna get hookups? Because realistically, a lot of the time, all you need to do is to get, especially these pelagics, get a fish to just stop honing in on whatever they're doing. Just look up. As soon as you can get them to look up, you might get a hookup. Now, whether that means they're committing to the top water or there's something else coming. Why are teasers so effective? Whether they're strip teasers or whether they're like a floppy style or even the old witch doctors that are just throwing light everywhere. You're only trying to get a locked-in fish to break concentration and look up, and then they're hitting a lure that's coming behind it.
Yep.
It's an interesting thought
So maybe,
process.
are we sort of saying the subsurface lure is underrated or underutilized, perhaps?
Well, I think a lot of the time we just don't know what to do with them because
Maybe. And it's not as exciting, as in visually, because you see a popper or you see a top water stick bait and it's splashing around. You might see a swipe, a tuna come and swipe it, or a kingfish or whatever you're chasing, GT, whatever. Is anyone chucking just a dirty big metal out? And look, at the moment, let's face it, tuna are biting. Like you could, and I'm not saying they're easy. It's never easy. You've always got to be on. But is anyone just chucking a slug?
I would say no.
Because they're not cool?
Yeah.
Because, and I mean, it seems like one thing that you can really mess around with the water column. Like you can sink that bad boy down 20 metres if you want, and then crank it back.
You can jig it if you want to.
Yeah,
They are quite versatile. I could almost guarantee that no one is going tuna fishing with 4 or 5 40-gram slugs in their kit. I guarantee it.
I tend to think you're probably right, but why not?
Because it's just not cool.
No, that's what I'm getting at. Is that what it is? And again,
so.
there's no need to, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. The stick baits and the poppers that are out there at the moment are getting it done, no doubt. And there's something cool about them. But I'm just like, what if it's tough one day? Surely it's an option to have in your tackle bag.
Well, remember in the shop, we used to look at the little 5 and 10 gram metal lures, tiny little things. Like you look at them and you're like, ridiculous, and you're like, when the tuna are locked into small, mate, try casting a 5 gram slug on a 50-pound outfit. The only
remember we used to fuck with them and put the big inline singles on them, and you just go, it's not doing nothing.
No, and then also try and land a small one, a 10 kilo bluefin on your little 2 to 4 kilo outfit that's capable of chucking a 5 gram slug.
Yeah,
it's the only thing holding it back.
The funny thing is, they are still spewing up really small bait fish at the moment.
It would be insanely viable. You just can't.
But again, it's not. If it was completely shut down, what I'm saying is, it would be worth having. No, I'm not saying a little 5 grammer, but just a metal that you can sink. You can, I still reckon we're going into product development ads.
Nice.
Is there? Correct me if I'm wrong. I don't know. Let's just everyone picture a fairly stock standard metal slug. They can look like a little pilchard. They can look just like a Halco twisty, whatever, with a spinner blade on it. Is there that? Is that out there at the moment?
It is.
Oh,
it is a matter of fact. So
Well-
a recent release by Williamson,
right,
is that exact thing.
Is it actually?
It is a 40 gram hybrid casting / jigging metal with a willow blade that's it's attached to the back of the lure. It's actually part of the hook.
And
I can see them sitting on my desk where I am.
Go and get one. Go and get one.
Oh, you keep them entertained. I'll go get a lure.
Okay, I'll play. Okay. I can play some ukulele for a little bit, maybe, or I can talk about the basketball scores today. Come on, Adam, hurry up. There is a lot happening in the background there. I can hear noises. Okay. This is one that we'll have to put on Instagram so people can see. It's a visual. Okay, let's have a look.
It's hard to look. Oh, it's upside down.
Okay, yeah. Okay, so it's effectively a
So the blade is actually hanging off the back of the single.
It's hanging off the single hook.
Yeah.
All right,
so this is only new.
Okay. Hold it upright. Just trying to get a. Okay.
Yeah. There you go.
All right. Well, this is okay. Anyone listening, you'll have to jump on Instagram because we'll put a video of what we're talking about. But also, we'll find an image and post it too. That's interesting. I don't mind it. So, is that designed to just spin while you're retrieving, or jigging potentially as well?
Well,
really?
it's actually the blade itself is attached to a rolling swivel. So it's
Okay.
designed to do whatever the hell it wants. It's just giving you a little bit of something extra. I think particularly where that blade's going to come into its own, if you need to slow the jig down, you know how sometimes, like, and we've done a heap of, I can't believe I'm going to say this,
Oh, wait,
especially
hang
after
on.
recent episodes.
hang
You and I have done some beach fishing together in the past.
Yeah.
Spinning.
No, that's all right. I'm okay
metals.
with that. Yeah, I'm okay with that.
And we have had some sessions sometimes where winding them flat out's not the go.
No, that's true. But it's daytime. It's not night.
Oh yeah, very much daytime. And it might not have even been in Victoria. So that also, you know.
Nah, hey, I've recently done some spinning off the beach here in Victoria. So I'm okay with it. It's you that's got the problem with it.
Yeah, you're right. But if you've got to, but if you do need to slow it down a little bit, maybe because the surf's a bit shit and it's,
Yeah.
you know what I mean, you wind too
Yeah.
hard, you're just skipping over the breakers. I think that's where this blade's going to really come in. Or
I like it.
if you're out in the bay or whatever, and those fish go deep on you, you can jig these as well. They
do you know
are
what's
actually based off an old Gamoki
Okay.
jig.
Yeah, right. And without using it or really even seeing it, apart from what you just showed there, I like the concept of if you're, and let's just say offshore, and you want to chuck it at, say, tuna or whatever, if you let it sink, it'll just have a nice spin on the sink as well as really cranking up when you sort of start bringing it in. That's cool.
Yeah.
Okay. I did not expect that. I thought we were going to develop something there, but it's already been developed. So
One step ahead, Luke.
I'll just shut up.
I actually, speaking of the development thing, no, I've spent, and it's only early in the week, and I've already spent a lot of hours in the car. So I've had a lot of thinking time. You know how we spoke about what we would do different with a squid jig? A question for you, without notice.
Sure.
When is the last time, and you've caught a stack of calamari in your lifetime, a stack of them. When's the last time do you reckon any of those calamari ate a prawn?
I think about this all the time, actually. I do, when I'm fishing, not just like sitting around, but I do. I think about it. I have no idea. I can't answer that.
Because we know for a fact you don't need that body shape to get a side-to-side action. Now, if you're going on a lift and fall technique, it doesn't matter what shape it is because it's got no fucking action anyway.
Exactly.
So why are we catching the shit out of squid still on prawn-shaped squid jigs, and why isn't there one? Just take we were just talking about some sinking stick minnows.
Yeah.
Now, if you pause them, they shimmy on the drop.
Yes.
Okay? So they already do cooler shit on the drop than a squid jig.
Yes, that's true.
But if you keep your rod tip high and give it a couple of twitches, it's actually going to turn side to side like a squid jig.
Yeah. And it'll still, well, depending, but you can still get that nosedive too if on a lot of
Yes.
those too.
Depending on where it's weighted. So
what you're saying is import $150 stick baits.
Actually, it's funny because if you look at some of the higher end squid jigs in the water, they sit parallel.
It's true, actually.
So why is there not a squid jig that looks like a bait fish and not a prawn? Because I can't remember the last time a Port Phillip Bay calamari ate a prawn.
Wow. I mean, I love this so much. And can I just add that if anyone, well, challenge for people next time they're out, take some prawns and just rig a squid jag with a prawn and see what happens. I'm sure.
Better yet, Luke, I think I need to call work. We need some Rapala saltwater long cast shallows. We need to work out a way to attach a squid barb to the back treble, to the back split ring and get rid of the trebles. and
Yeah.
we need to fuck around. My only concern is
doable.
the smallest one's 12 centimeters. There's some different ones. We've got some long cast prays that are 10 centimeters, but they're really heavy. They're gonna sink way too quick.
I'm okay with 12 centimeters. I just measured it. I'm okay with it.
What would 12 centimeters be? You reckon what equivalent to a 3.5?
Yeah, 3 or 3.5. I'm fine with that. That's fine. No problem. Just keep in mind too, if you put, how big is a silver whiting? When you put a whole silver whiting on a jag.
I reckon most of the silver whiting would be the
20?
size of a long
18?
cast. Well, I reckon
16?
it'd be a long cast 12 or 14.
I mean, there you go. Job done, everyone.
But you know what I mean? We've actually got lures that represent a bait fish that they're eating, but
it's a hook situation.
Yeah, exactly.
But you can get just barb without prong, right? As in, sorry, just the
Yeah.
fucking...
Yeah, the arse bit.
Yeah. So can you not tie them with a bit of, I don't know, whether it be a thin gauge wire or just some mono? Like, let's face it, squid aren't going to, unless it's arrow squid, they shouldn't bite you off.
Nah, you could just have it as a swinging type arrangement.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. So even if it was just a couple of inches off the back, that's all you need. So they can well and truly grab onto that lure.
Because I'll generally try and grab it behind the head and then they slide down and find the prong.
Yeah.
But it's weird. We're throwing prawn imitation
It's such a good
lure.
point, mate. And thank you for raising it. And can anyone give us any insight? Obviously, it's probably the origins, the Japanese origins, perhaps. But again, I don't know if squid eating prawns.
But again, if it's not broke, don't fix it. Is that kind of where we're at with it?
Yeah, but I'm open to being a bit, just fuck with it. See what happens. Can always revert back. This prawn style jigs ain't going anywhere.
I'm going to be on the lookout now around every tackle shop in Melbourne that I visit and see if they've got replacement squid jags. And I'm just going to buy half a dozen.
Yes.
And well, let's just see what's up. It has to work, doesn't it?
Yep. Okay, it does. Of course it does. It makes sense to me. So anyway, I think that's great. I think we've covered some good lure chat there because, and get creative. Like, send us what you're doing if you're mixed. Look, we know that 99% of people aren't going to fuck with it because
Well,
squid jigs work.
It works. It works. Yeah.
But if you want to get a bit creative, bring us in. We want to be involved. Tell us what you're doing. Show us what you're doing. And
if you want to be highlighted on the deep drop, you're going to have to fuck around with some sort of stick minnow, catch a squid on it and send us a photo, and we will shout you out.
Yep. 100%. All right, so here's the summary of tonight's episode, everyone. We're asking medium dew or big dusky.
Yep.
Where were you sitting with that?
I was team medium dew.
Yeah, I think, and I am where I am in my life right now. I'm a medium dew.
Yeah.
Anyway.
There's the soundbite for this week.
That's is a bent minnow a surface lure?
Yeah.
Well, we're saying but like subsurface.
But nah.
Maury, you're thinking too hard about it.
Yeah. Overthinking it.
Medals for tuna. I want to know, is anyone doing it? Is anyone casting medals for tuna?
Because I'm saying no. I'm saying no. It's not happening.
Oh, look, I'm probably with you, but I also want to expand on that and say, are you taking some medals out with you?
Yeah.
And mate, for the cost of a couple of metal slugs, I would throw one in and probably just pop a single on the back there and away you go.
Yep.
You have just announced a new product to us that I had no idea about, but I thought I was all clever and coming up with some great product, and you've gone, no, here's one we prepared earlier.
Here's one we prepared earlier. So make sure you go and ask your local and keep me employed for another week.
Oh Jesus,
that would be fantastic.
That's a plug. And then more squid jig developments. So why are we using why actually that is the question, isn't it? When was the last time a squid actually ate a prawn?
Yep. Yeah, that's a good question. That's the question.
Or have they ever? Like,
Yeah. When's the last time a squid ate a prawn?
And if it seems a bit of a weird question, if you're out there and you stumble across it, or someone goes, I saw this dumb question on this dumb Instagram page called The Deep Drop, saying, when was the last time a squid ate a prawn? Just explain to them.
Yeah, think about it.
Every squid jig on the market is designed around a prawn.
Yeah.
Shape.
Literally every single one.
Yeah, like literally like everyone.
Yeah.
Until now.
Stay tuned.
Stay tuned. All right, well, that's it. That's us. That's us for another episode. I think there's plenty of work to do there.
Yep.
Get out there. Do any of the things we've spoken about and let us know how you go. We kind of... Do you know what we need? We need a deep drop pro team. We need some pro staff.
Yeah, I think we need to find out, Luke. We need to be certain. We need to be certain that some of these ridiculous ideas have got some sort of merit.
Ads. We've got over 70 episodes with multiple dumb ideas or questionable ideas in each. Yeah, I'm just saying, I think it's time we put together a pro team. I don't know what we can give you as a part for being a part of the
it will
stubby holder.
Yeah, a high five, like whatever,
We'll work on that.
Maybe we can cycle through some pro team guest episodes to update us on progress of some of our ridiculous projects.
I love that because we need updates. We need updates for the punters.
Yeah. Because not all of these ideas are going to be viable. I need to know if they are. What percentage of bullshit are we actually talking?
Yeah, hi. But if you're interested in being a deep, we'll unofficially put the pitch out. We're not offering any jobs, but if you're interested in sort of being a pro staffer,
no, we don't need to do the pitching, Luke. Instagram's where you need to do it. You pitch to us why you should be part of the project.
Just send in your resumes to careers@thedeepdrop. No. I don't know. Maybe someone's sitting out there going, "I need something to do," and then they stumble across this episode and go, "All right."
And hey, what's the project you want to tackle?
We're
not fucking around here, Luke.
Here's what we will do. Real talk for a minute. I might be speaking out of tongue here. If there's something that you want to tackle, like you want to spend some time on just fishing metals for tuna.
Yeah,
we will help source the product. As best we can.
Yep. Yeah, and I'm down with that.
Try and take the load off.
Yeah, and I'm happy to send out a care package.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking. All right. So, do you want to try spinner baits for snapper in Port Phillip Bay? I will source some. I will supply some spinner baits.
Yeah,
I'm putting it out there. That's what I'm thinking.
Do you?
We probably should have these discussions off air. To be honest.
Yeah, true. Just send us what project you would like to tackle for the deep drop, and then we'll make a call.
We can help. Fucking hell. What am I doing? I've done this long enough.
This could be the most edited episode.
We could edit it, but that's not the deep drop way.
No. What the dribble that comes out stays on the.
And if you've made it this far into the episode, fuck it, you deserve to be a part of the team.
Yeah,
everyone's a part of the team, but if you want to get out into the action, tackle some of these things that we've brought up over the last 70-odd episodes, we're embracing you and welcoming you to the family. Let's do it. Reach out. Let's make some cool stuff. That's us. I'm Luke. You're Adam. Peace out.
Peace.